Let's discuss about management of atonic postpartum hemorrhage. As I told you, the main cause of postpartum hemorrhage is uterus atonicity, right? When there is uterus atonicity, uterus will fail to constrict the blood vessels present in the uterus. That will lead to hemorrhage. That we call it as postpartum hemorrhage, right? So the various management we have here is, one is medical management, second one is mechanical management, third one is surgical management. In mechanical management, we have uterine massage, and bimanual compression, and intrauterine packaging, balloon tamponade, and the last one is military anti-shock garment treatment. This is MAST, military anti-shock treatment, right? So these are the various mechanical managements. In the surgical treatment, we have various surgical procedures. We'll discuss it in this lecture. Okay, first we'll discuss about medical management. Various drugs we have to increase the tonicity of uterus. These are the various drugs for increasing the tone of uterus. We have oxytocin, carbetocin, ergometrin, methylergometrin, carbapenem, misoprostol, dinoprostone, tranexamic acid. These are the various drugs. First, see the oxytocin. The dose of oxytocin that we give here is 10 to 20 units in 500 ml of normal saline at rate of 40 to 60 drops per minute, right? And one thing we have to remember here is, you should never give oxytocin IV bolus. Okay, you should never give oxytocin as IV bolus. That you have to remember. See, in medicine, we should remember contraindications and the side effects mainly, because if you don't know contraindications or side effects, that is going to kill your patient. Okay, so this thing you have to remember. Never give oxytocin as IV bolus. That you should remember when it comes to oxytocin. Next one is carbetocin, and this is a synthetic oxytocin analog. This can be given as IV 100 micrograms, and this is most effective than oxytocin. Okay, then ergometrin and methylergometrin. Ergometrin can be given as 0.25 milligrams intramuscular or IV. Methylergometrin 0.2 milligrams intramuscular IV. It can be repeated for every 15 minutes. Okay, and then coming to carbaprost, which is 15-methyl prostaglandin F2 alpha. This can be given in the dose of 250 micrograms. It can be given either as intramuscular or intramyometrically, and this can be repeated after 50 minutes for maximum of 8 doses. Okay, the side effects of this carbaprost are: this causes diarrhea, hypertension, vomiting, fever, tachycardia, pyrexia, and it is contraindicated in asthmatics because it causes bronchospasm. Okay, as it causes bronchospasm, it should be contraindicated in asthmatics, and it also contraindicated when there is risk of amniotic fluid embolism. Okay, and the relative contraindications are liver disease, renal disease, and cardiac diseases. Then misoprostol. can be given as 800 micrograms sublingually. This causes hypopyrexia and can be given safely in asthmatics. See, carboprost can't be given in asthmatics, but this misoprostol can be given in asthmatics, and it is given sublingually. This point you should remember. Okay, misoprost can be given as sublingually. This point you should remember because this can be asked today in MCQs. Dinoprostone can be given as 20 milligrams per rectum or per vaginal every 2 hours. Can cause diarrhea. And tranexamic acid 500 milligrams IV or intramuscular, and this is recommended if all the drugs above that we have discussed so far fail to give the results. Okay, in that situation we can use tranexamic acid. Okay, and this is about medical management. Now moving to mechanical management. The first we have here is uterine massage. So we massage the uterus, and this will prevent postpartum hemorrhage. Okay, and one thing we have to remember is nowadays this has not been included in active management of postpartum hemorrhage. Okay, not recommended nowadays, as active management of postpartum hemorrhage. This is just recommended as management for postpartum hemorrhage. This is not active management. You remember this. Then bimanual compression. You can see here bimanual compression. Here the doctor is compressing the uterus by placing his hand in the genital tract and one hand on the abdomen, right here, and is trying to compress the uterus so that the vessels will be constricted, and that will help in preventing postpartum hemorrhage. Okay, this is bimanual compression of uterus. Another one is balloon tamponade. Before balloon tamponade, we will see intrauterine packaging. What is intrauterine packaging? In intrauterine packaging, what we do is we'll do this procedure under general anesthesia. Remember it, under general anesthesia. What we do here is we'll take 5 meter long gauge, right, and we'll soak this 5 meter long gauge in antiseptic solution. And will place in the genital tract. And however, currently WHO recommendations says that we should not use this for treating postpartum hemorrhage. Okay, WHO is recommended. This is no need to use for postpartum hemorrhage. Then the last one is balloon tamponade. Here what we do is we'll this is uterus, right? So we'll insert a balloon. Into intrauterine cavity. We'll insert a balloon into intrauterine cavity using a condom catheter. Or sinks taken Blackmore esophageal catheter. Or Bakri balloon catheter. Using this, we'll insert a balloon right into uterine cavity, and this uterine cavity, it contains 300 to 500 ml of warm saline saline, and these should be kept for 12 to 24 hours. Okay, let's see the picture. We can see here written bacteria balloon for postpartum arrest. This is how it looks. And the last one is military anti-shock garment or mask. Here what we do here is, this is women, right? We'll apply, what we do here is, we will apply pressure on limbs, on legs. Okay, we'll apply pressure on legs and abdomen. Okay, we'll apply a counter pressure to legs and abdomen, so that blood will be transferred to vital organs. Okay, here what we do is, we'll apply counter pressure on legs and abdomen, so that blood will move to vital organs. Okay, this is about mechanical management. Then move to surgical management. When you go for surgical management, we should confirm one thing, whether the women is desired to have children in future or not. If she wants children in future, then the management will be something different, and if that woman doesn't want any children, and the management will be something different. So before going to surgical management, one thing we have to confirm, whether family is not completed. That means if she desired to have children in future, or if family is completed. If family is not completed, that means if she wants children in future, if she desired to have pregnancy in future, then the various modalities we have here is application of B-Lynch sutures. Second one is radiographic embolization. Of pelvic vessels. Third one is uterine and ovarian artery ligation. And the last one is internal iliac artery ligation. If family is completed, that means if she don't need any children in future, then we'll do subtotal hysterectomy. Here in subtotal hysterectomy, what happens is, we'll spare cervix. Means cervix will not be removed, because this will give the women an advantage of having a good sexual life. Okay, or supracervical hysterectomy, both are same. In B-Lynch sutures, what we do is, we'll apply a vertical sutures. We'll give vertical sutures in the uterine cavity, so that anterior and posterior surface of uterus will be compressed. Okay, and this will prevent postpartum hemorrhage. This is what happens in Benin suture. That is, in this will give vertical sutures and this will approximate anterior posterior surface of uterus. That will prevent postpartum hemorrhage. And one more is application of block sutures. In this, what we do is we'll give square shaped sutures. We'll apply square shaped sutures over the entire uterus, so that all the uterine cavity will be obliterated. And other types of sutures that can we apply here are Hayman sutures, Chokere, Kinsella suture. These are the various sutures.